This is the Sportsline Podcast. So pleased that you have joined us on the CHCH and Parrot TV platforms. I'm Bubba O'Neil. As you know, this podcast puts sports, athletes, teams, officials, and sports personalities from Southern Ontario in the forefront. With that said, there is a major league sporting event that's just days away from dominating the entire spotlight.
This time swept in towards the 6-yard box. It's gone in. Canada with the early advantage from the set piece.
Well, Canada completed their World Cup tune-ups with a 1-1 draw versus Ireland last week in Montreal. Now an expanded 48-nation field have made the trek to North America and Mexico to talk all things World Cup, including split loyalties for Canadian supporters, is former pro player and current OneSoccer analyst Jordan Wilson. Jordan, great to have you on the Sportsline Podcast. You've had some of your teammates on, and glad that you're joining us.
No, I appreciate it, Bubba. I'm so excited to come chat to you and just, get ready for this World Cup that we're about to have.
I can't believe it's like World Cup. I can't believe we're saying World Cup, Canada, Toronto. It's incredible.
I can drive down to it now.
It's nuts.
It's surreal.
We've been watching this for so many years. Now, before we get into it, though, I want a lot of people to know a little bit about who you are. I mean, you're a guy that's played in Europe. You've played in the CPL, and now you've made that transition into TV world.
I love it.
Tell me a little about the career and how you made that transition.
Yeah, I think to sum it all up, it's just soccer kind of saved me. I know people always talk about that, but that was just always my saving grace and my peace and my sanctuary. And from the age of 3 when I started playing it was something that no one ever told me to go and kick a ball. I just loved doing it. So grew up in Mississauga, was always playing here, and then I actually went to high school at Mount Carmel Secondary School, just right in Meadowville. And then graduated from there. I went to school, an NAIA school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Was there for 4 years and just always had the dream and desire and urge to go and play abroad. Finally got my opportunity and I took it. I stayed in Denmark for 5.5 years, played over there as a central midfielder, central defender, and just really learned my trade, learned my craft from 23 to 28. I was over there, and then came back home in the Canadian Premier League and then played for York United, that's now called Inter Toronto, and was going against your Forge FC so many times as well. But that was a beautiful game. It kind of just brought me into so many different avenues and ways, and I think for me, when I retired when I was 30, I just knew I still wanted to give back to the game. I knew I wanted to be connected with it in some way, shape, or form. And now being an analyst for OneSoccer and covering the game full time, it's the dream come true. It's the best job I could ever ask for.
It's amazing what you guys do, and I love that we have, and with due respect to Sportsnet and TSN, who touch on soccer every once in a while, you guys are focused on the sport at all levels, and I think right now is probably a really exciting time for you guys with the World Cup here. I mean, you have a crew of about, 20 right now? That's
what I always tell people. I'm we're small but mighty. We cover a lot, and we really do dive in, but yeah, I couldn't ask for a better team because it's just a tight-knit group. It's a real family. And, we cover a lot. We're diving in. We're going to be covering the World Cup every single day in different ways. But, again, it's just a privilege that the fact that the World Cup is here, the fact that I have a full-time job in soccer and I'm not kicking a ball. This is what – we'll get into that, I'm sure, in the show. But this is what this football ecosystem's about now in Canada, is that the opportunities, there are jobs, there are platforms. I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
Well, great that you jumped right in there, and you look really comfortable. And I don't know if it's just because you're talking about soccer, but in terms of your presence on TV and how you fit in with all the guys and the girls as well, too. You do a wonderful, wonderful job.
Appreciate that.
Hey, 48 teams, an expanded 48-team nation sort of tournament right now in Canada, United States, Mexico as well, too. As we look at all the games here, the stage schedule, it's going to start June 11th, going all, this is a month-long tournament.
Yeah.
And as I said, 13 games in Canada that will be played in, of course, Toronto and Vancouver. Just talk about this tournament being here in Canada for the first time and how it impresses you.
Yeah, it's honestly amazing. I know for the women in 2015 when they hosted as well, this country was electric, right? And the fact that now you have a 48-team World Cup and you're having 13 games in Canada, I think this is just, pinch me. It feels surreal. And it all starts Friday here in Canada, right? I know the tournament starts on Thursday in Mexico, but it's wild to me to think that I'm planning what I'm doing on Friday, like how early you got to get downtown, like where are you going to be, because the city, it's just, people are going to be, it's going to be swarmed, right? And it's going to be a wild time to get this thing going. But I keep telling everyone, this is the one that we're going to get for the men's side. Like, this is it. Like, we're not going to get another World Cup. So this will be that moment. Where were you when Canada scored their first goal in 2026? Like, where were you when, if they get their first win? So you want to make sure you're with the people that you love. This is what the World Cup is about as well. It's like bringing everyone together. It doesn't matter which country you're from. So, it's just surreal to me that this moment's actually happening, and just what it could mean for years to come, like when you're looking back on it as well. So, it's a dream come true.
Well, no doubt. And I look at, Team Canada in particular and the fact that they are participating in their obviously automatic entry as being one of the co-hosts. But I just think that I think about when I was playing soccer many moons ago.
Yeah.
Ever to think about a World Cup being played in Canada, it was always something that was in South America or in Europe. And like, maybe one day it'll come to America, and it just blows me away that we're actually having games here in Canada.
Yeah.
I got to ask you about the 48-nation field. Pro or con?
I'm going to say con. I love the fact that when you watch the World Cup in previous years and there are 32 teams, and then there's 2 in each of out of the 4 that would make it onto the next round. It was clean, but it was also cutthroat. There was a group of deaths. There was just all these storylines that were coming from that as well. But I will also say I've gotten around to it a little bit because there are nations like Haiti that now have an opportunity to go and represent and be at a World Cup, which Curacao, like you're looking at countries that have never done it, never even dreamt of doing it or being there, that are now there, and their people can go and celebrate that moment. So obviously that's the silver lining. But when you think about covering the sport intimately, intensely, you're like, 32 feels like the right number. 32 feels like something that we're just used to and didn't feel like a problem. But 48, I'll tell you from the media side, is taking a lot more work and interest, and you're diving in. But you could also look at that as a positive. That's a good thing as well, to give maybe spotlight and a platform to countries that weren't getting that before.
I talked about, obviously with this tournament being in Canada, it's a big focus for all of us here. And even on the ultra focus, and you talked about all the things that Toronto are going to go through as an actual city. And let's be honest here, it's been controversial for many people. People talking about traffic, people talking about congestion, people talking about, areas closed that they could normally access that they can't access. There was obviously the stadium. Your thoughts on Toronto, the city, and in particular, the stadium, the changes that it's gone through to be able to host a World Cup match?
I feel like we missed the opportunity a little bit. I've always felt like this, the fact that when you're looking 2 years before, 3 years before, we're like, okay, nothing's being done to BMO. Nothing really is being done with, you're looking at Vancouver Stadium. You're like, to really push to go and make this something that outside of this World Cup, players, kids, you could just look and be at a stadium and it just feels like how it would feel when you go to stadiums in Europe or stadiums in South America, and you can start to build that culture. It felt like we were a little bit late to the party, and I just don't really know why. Like, I feel like we could have had things in place to make stuff that's permanent. You look at BMO Stadium, Toronto Stadium, like maybe there's a lounge that's going to stay and that's it, but all that scaffolding is coming down. And for me, that just felt like an opportunity to really go and like lock in and really build something up, because I know from my time playing in Europe, and I know from, you could talk to probably any of the players right now on the men's national team and the women's national team, it's like, you say you're Canadian, people know that there's some talent over there, but they also still don't give us that respect. And I felt like this was a time to really start to solidify and lay down some groundwork for the future and what could come. So feels like a missed opportunity, but naturally I'm an optimist. So I'm trying to focus on the fact that it's here and what could happen from this moment. But yeah, from scaffolding and ticket prices, there were a lot of things that kind of had my skin crawling a bit when you're looking at this World Cup because Bubba, you notice you've been in sports for so long. Is like when you get a moment as pure as this, you want to make sure that you maximize it. And
Right,
I
for
just
sure.
don't know if that has been the case so far.
You know, in terms of the negativity, I make this comparison. Every single Olympics, for at least a month to the build-up, it's negative, 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 negative. And then from the time the games start, the attitudes change.
Flips.
And especially Canada getting a medal.
Yeah.
No one's talking about the negative anymore. And I feel like that's what's going to happen here in this World Cup situation.
I hope so.
Is that, you know what, because Canada plays so early and they're playing in the biggest city in the country as well, too, and hopefully get a victory, that everyone will be talking about soccer and not so much the other stuff as well, too. You take a look at those games that are going to be played in Toronto. I think it's 7 in BC and Toronto getting these 6 matches, including a round of 32 matches. Anything that you look at there that kind of makes you say, hey, this is can't miss soccer?
Yeah, Ghana versus Panama. I just think Ghana, I love the Black Stars as well. But there's so many. You look at Germany and Cote d'Ivoire as well. I think the Ivory Coast is a fantastic team with a lot of depth. But again, you think about such a multicultural place like Toronto, like Vancouver. This is what it is. Like my Senegalese friends, like they're ready for that match against Iraq as well. So it's one of those things where, you get to actually support the country maybe your parents are from. And I've just been chatting with people as well, and we'll get into the initiative with Volkswagen. But being a second generation, being a third generation Canadian, you're like the people that raise you, your parents, that's the heritage that you know, right? You want to honor that as well. So even for my Senegalese friends, I know they'll be cheering for Senegal, but they also have the Canadian flag as well. And that dual flag, that is kind of the Canadian story.
Well, you walk right into it.
We're going to talk about it?
You're a broadcaster. You walked right into it, right? Like, that was awesome because that is the thing. Okay, and the biggest example to me, and I kept thinking about it, I mean, goodness gracious, Bosnia gets in. Bosnia and Herzegovina get in.
I'm so grateful it wasn't Italy. I'll just say that, Andy Petrillo, all the Italians I know and love, I'm grateful because it would have been Azzurri at Toronto Stadium.
Well, this is where I'm going. This is where I'm going with this, is the fact that, you know what, I can think of, and you're a Saga guy as well, too. I grew up in Oakville and Burlington, and you know the greatest amount of Croatians outside of Croatia are in Mississauga, Oakville, and Burlington. And if Canada in Toronto, we'll say, if we're just making up a match here, if Canada played Croatia, if Canada played Italy in match number 1, your blood, and I'm just thinking for Trinidad and Tobago, your blood is this, but I'm born here, right?
Yeah.
And this is where you come in, and you've got this program in here where, you know, what do you do? Who do you cheer for? You know what? And you're going to have straight up Canadians saying, how dare you? You're born in this country. You cheer for that Canada flag. But sometimes there's the blood.
The blood. And it runs through. But it's, you know what, Bubba? It's not even the blood. It's how you're raised. It's the culture. It's the heritage. It's all of that, right? And I think that's the Canadian experience. So when Volkswagen approached me about this, I was locked in from minute 1 because that is the Canadian experience, to honor both your heritage but also the country that raised you, right? We're all Canadian, whether it be first or second generation. I know I'm second generation, but a lot of my friends are third generation. Like, their parents were born here in Canada, but the grandparents are from a different country, but you're still raised Greek, Italian, Portuguese, Jamaican, Trinidad. Like, we're so multicultural and diverse, and I think Volkswagen hit the nail on the head because they want to honor the dual flagship, being Canadian but also being from Argentina or Portugal or Germany, right? So you don't have to choose. You could be both. They've even done a survey, right? 60% of Canadians that did the survey feel like they couldn't just have one flag. They felt like dual flagship really represented them. And I totally agree with that because, Bubba, I'd be lying to you if I said I was going into this World Cup solely just cheering for Canada. If Jamaica qualified, my mom already had a Jamaica like, I'm Jamaican. The food I ate growing up, the way I was raised, the friends that I had coming into the house as well, like, tended to be Jamaican. So there's no world if Jamaica was coming here or to the U.S. or to Mexico that I wasn't cheering, I wasn't celebrating. Like, I wasn't, come on, Bubba. I had to, right? But that is what we have to honor. So I felt like with this initiative that Volkswagen put in place, I'm all in for that, and I think it's just a great thing because that's the Canadian story.
Well, I'm glad what you got here is like, I mean, every time there's a World Cup, I mean, and we're going to see street corners in our area filled with people just selling flags. Yeah. And you've got something there that represents what anyone from any nationality can actually put on their car or wave proudly.
It's beautiful. And the reason why I picked this one as well is because I really feel like Portugal are going to have that tournament. I really feel like they're going to go far, and I love this. We'll get into that in a second. And then we get 30 seconds to land my plane. But this is what Volkswagen has done, right? Those dual-sided flags, which is just...
It's actually a great idea.
It's beautiful, right? And, you know, we've always seen, I've grown up when you have the Portuguese flag on the hood of the car, or you have, you know, people like soup out their cars a little bit. This is nice. It's clean, and the fact that Volkswagen are going to be giving it out. I know on June 11th, before Mexico played to kick off the tournament, they're giving it out at Kensington Market. But you could also look at their Volkswagen Canada Instagram page just to get one of these flags. Because I think even for memories, for vibes, just to honor both your country that you're born in, but also your heritage. This is a genius idea, so I'm glad that they did it.
It's amazing that it comes like this. It comes down to this because I don't know, for whatever reason, the World Cup of baseball doesn't. It's still growing.
Yeah.
You know what? The World Cup of hockey or even the Four Nations Cup. I mean, you just naturally are drawn to Canada or whatever. In the United States, they always say it's a melting pot, right? And once you come to America, you become American.
Yeah.
But we're different.
Very different.
We're very different. We allow for that multicultural sort of mentality where, yes, you can be Jamaican, you can be Canadian, you can be, you know, Italian, Portuguese, whatever you want, but you still may be born here and represent the Canadian flag as well, too. And it seems like every 4 years, this is where this discussion comes up and becomes a big deal. And some people are actually very offended by it.
Yeah, for sure. I think this World Cup is very interesting because Canada is also co-hosting, but then Canada has a good team as well that I feel like could potentially hit some milestones, talk about like multiple goals, a draw, a win, getting out the group, maybe winning a knockout game. These type of conversations that you can't ignore. You have to kind of honor that. But it's funny, when I'm speaking to friends as well, when you're here, if I ask you where you're from, you probably say Trinidadian.
Yeah,
right? Like, that's what I would say. I always say my mom's Jamaican and my dad's from England, always. As soon as I leave Canada, I say I'm Canadian, right? Like, I'm a proud Canadian everywhere else. And you're still proud here, but you're so comfortable that you get to acknowledge and honor the countries that you come from. So this is why the dual flag is dope. I think it's such a great initiative. But this is also the Canadian experience. I expect everyone to be wearing their red and white and cheering on Canada because this is our moment. But if your country of heritage or where your parents come from or the country that you naturally rep is also playing at a point, that is totally okay to go and cheer for them.
I think it's the greatest thing in our country in the fact that, you know what, if I'm surrounded by Trinidadians, I start to talk quicker.
Yeah.
If you're Jamaican, you know, the patois comes out.
Right?
The soca's in the back. Yeah, it's playing in the back end. If you're a Brit, like all of a sudden this British accent comes out of nowhere. Italians are talking sort of with an Italian twang. It's the most wonderful thing about our country, and I'm glad that we get to celebrate. And a great job by Volkswagen to actually think outside the box with something that I think we can all sort of cheer for. But of course, we do talk about Canada, and I don't know. I know this was sort of a discussion in the fact that there was a great feeling last World Cup because you had to earn it, right?
Yeah.
And it was a different manager, and he had his own different type of personality in a team. And this one, maybe not the same sort of drama because we were going to be in it regardless. But the team has played very, very well under Jesse Marsch as well too. First, before we get into the matches, you can't help but talking about these injuries, and we take a look at I guess three of the people that everyone is sort of talking about, and Fonzo, obviously the biggest of all, because I mean the quality of a player that he is, the quality of team that he plays for, and what he's going to represent for Canada. Do you believe he will be a factor in this World Cup?
Right now, no. I think he'll be there. I think he'll be in the tracksuit. I think he'll be at training and obviously be a presence, signing autographs, and he'll still be a captain to some degree, like as a leader. But I don't know when we'll see him with the captain armband on the pitch. I'm hoping it's for that last match, the 24th against Switzerland, and maybe going into around the 32 match. But based on his chronic injuries, based on the fact that they said maybe he would be ready around the 12th to come back to start training, but everyone who knows or has played sports, the day that you are clear to play is not the day that you feel fully fit to go and do what you need to do. And then you add travel, heat, the fact that he's done this for the past year, his ACL injury, which I know he's recovered from, but he recovered from it and then has had 3 hamstring injuries subsequently after that, right? So he's not fully fit. You also have to take into consideration he is going to want to ramp up, and Bayern Munich is going to want to ramp him up for the next year.
Yes.
They want to go and win everything again.
Yeah.
They didn't get to win a Champions League. They want Alphonso Davies to be an integral part of that plan. That's why they splashed all that cash for potentially the best left back in the world, right? But he didn't get to prove that or be that this year because of injuries. So it's a very convoluted situation, and I just think looking at it right now, a couple of days before the first match, I just don't think you can rush it. And so that's why, for me, I'm already kind of counting him out. And I hope that he has some part to play maybe down the road. But I don't look to him to play the first game, probably not the second game, and maybe not even the third. Yeah.
And it sounds real doubtful about Moise Bombito as well, too.
Yes.
I mean, a guy that's coming off a fractured leg as well, too. We saw them in the, kind of limping off in the game against Ireland. And and I'm concerned. Now, I know Davies is listed as a defender. I'm not sure if coach, was going to play him, further up the park or not. He is a defender with Bayern. But I look at the, Priso is a guy that's supposed to maybe even come in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the major injuries, and they're all on the back line. And I think to myself, boy, you know what? Many, many moons ago, Canada would never score any goals, but their strength was their back line.
Well said.
And now I look at this team right now, and I'm like, these are big guys to lose.
Yeah, for sure. Moise Bombito, that's a heartbreaker because he was just someone that had so much aura, right? And like so much presence about him when he felt fit. But then you see him against Uzbekistan and comes out after 30 minutes and has to ice his tibia. You're like, he doesn't look the same, right? And that doesn't mean that he won't get there at a point. For me, that just means that this might not be his moment at this World Cup, right? And so, yeah, when you take out that, I know Canadian players, the depth, the players that are playing high-level football is greater and better than it's ever been. But when you take your best, most influential players in certain spots out of your team, it doesn't mean your team's all of a sudden destitute, but you do miss those stars. Right. That's what it is. If you did that to any team in the World Cup, everyone would be talking about that, right? Yeah. Take away your most decorated left back and take away your most dominant center back, and you're like, okay, well, this might be a little bit more difficult than we anticipated. I like that Jesse Marsch has backup plans, and I like that this team will still go and compete. But, yeah, of course, those are big losses. And even Ralph Priso, he's a guy for me that probably should have been in the 26 before. But now with the injuries that keep persisting, keep coming back, he got injured in the March window as well. He's a guy, if he's healthy, I could see him playing Jesse Marsch's system now and beyond. Right. But, again, he has to be healthy. And right now it doesn't look like everyone's at that full health that they need to be.
Well, I guess it's maybe one of the most overused sayings in sports, but next man up mentality or philosophy, right?
Yeah.
It has to be that because the time is now. And that's what's so unfortunate about these injuries. I mean, especially Davies. Like, he had to have been looking like this was got to be not only just bigger. Well, I don't know if there's a dream, and then there's got to be something that's even bigger than a dream for someone like that. To a guy from Edmonton that was going to play in Canada in the World Cup, and maybe not able to participate. Yeah, it's got to be crushing for him.
No, for sure.
Let's look at the matches that Canada are going to play. Obviously, we start with Bosnia and Herzegovina here in Toronto. When you look at these 3 matches, all right, and I'm going to put you to the test for a couple of things.
Go on, Bubba. It's okay.
Like, I have to believe, and people have to remember, too, that because it's a 48-man field right now, third-place teams can advance to the round of 32. I gotta believe Canada can get through.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a favorable group. I also think if you look at Qatar respectfully in the second game in the middle of the sandwich there, that has to be a 3 points for Canada. And then statistics, Gareth Wheeler just put up a statistic as well, doing some research for the World Cup.
Wheels.
Saying that if you get 4 points, you have a 97% chance of making it out of the group. So if you look at that, already Bosnia-Herzegovina, I favor Canada. To get a point, to get maybe a win, that would be a fantastic situation. But we're already looking at 4 points right there, right? Beating Qatar, but then drawing or maybe taking care of Bosnia-Herzegovina, you already do it. So, and then you have Switzerland, the best team in the group that you're playing last. So it's attainable for Canada, but it's just how quickly they hit the pedal to the metal. That's really what it is. It's like if they take till Qatar for that to be their first goal, and it comes in the second half, and then you have to go and play Switzerland, and it always feels like they're playing catch up. This could be a short World Cup, which would break my heart. But if they go out and attack Bosnia-Herzegovina, they score a goal early, they play with their chest out high and proud, and then you can go and take care of Qatar, then all of a sudden the nation starts to, we're starting to vibe. We're starting to get behind this team even more so. And I think there's people that love this team because they love the sport. But for me, this World Cup is so integral because there's people that you're going to win over that had no clue. People that call it the FIFA or that don't know about Canada, right? This is what this tournament's about. It's like you got to win those people over that might have been going to work, and now all of a sudden they're taking the day off to go watch Canada play. So I think this is important for that, and I really have faith with this team, but I hope it's not just hope. I hope that it's actually faith in what they're doing and what they're producing on the pitch.
I love the fact that this group, I remember when they did the draw, I was really excited because I think if you go back to the last World Cup, Belgium, Croatia, and Morocco.
Yeah,
right?
It's like two of those teams went to the semifinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like not the team that people thought would. Like Belgium, we thought was going to be the team to top the group, be the best. Croatia and Morocco went to the semifinals at the World Cup, and they were in Canada's group. Like it was a difficult group for them for sure.
If I remember correctly, they only scored 3 goals, and I don't know if goal scoring is going to be an issue, but I would have to believe, and especially with maybe Davies not playing a lot of the games, that Jonathan David is going to be a point person, guy that plays for Juventus. He plays big soccer. He's played. I think he's the leading goal scorer for Canada all time.
Yeah,
the time is now, is it not?
Yeah, for sure. His age, the way that he plays, his attributes. He's clinical in front of goal, but there's so much to say. So the last World Cup, obviously that cross from Tejan Buchanan that gets a header for Alphonso Davies is the only goal that they scored. Then there was an own goal against Morocco, so Canada didn't even score. So those are 2 goals that Canada has scored at a World Cup ever. In 86 and 2022, they only put the ball in the back of the net once. Morocco did them a favor and did an own goal, and they still lost that match. So goals are going to be scarce. They're scarce at any World Cup, but when you put that into the history of Canada, this is going to be the 3rd, and you've only really scored 1. It does put some pressure on players. And you bring up Jonathan David, and I think that's pointed because it's appropriate, because he is that guy that could just have everyone in this country take a sigh of relief and relax. He's that guy that's clinical. We can get into if he's playing the right spot. I personally don't think he's playing the right spot. I'd love to see him higher up the pitch. But Jesse Marsch has been adamant to play him there at that 10 position and right underneath a striker. But regardless, we have a shot of doing something special if the Iceman Jonathan David shows up and really gets into a place where he's finding joy and he's shooting and he's in areas to actually affect change in the game. We have a very good shot. There are other players that I really like Buchanan and Cole.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, give me some other names to support.
Buchanan down that right-hand side, a lot of the vibes in this team in terms of corners, in terms of if they feel like they can go and stay and belong, comes from Buchanan. Comes from that guy that just, he embarrasses defenders. Left backs fear him. They feared him at the last World Cup. They just couldn't put it all together. So he's one. I think Kone, this is a breakout tournament for him. He's coveted in Serie A. Big clubs want him. I'm not talking dinky clubs. Like I'm talking AC Milan. Like his reports are big clubs want to make a move because of his presence, the way that he can just go from box to box with ease. He like glides. It looks like when he's running sometimes that a treadmill is just taking him. Like literally on top speed, he's gliding through, right? So that's something you can't coach. He just has that ability to go and change games. So there are players to really like about this team if for the fans that aren't really fans yet. Like, there's a lot of guys you can get behind and start to really love. But if they show up and they're their best selves, Canada have a shot.
One final thing about Canada. It was such I hate to say it, but an ugly ending. But there was a long time that John Herdman was the love of Canada.
Yeah.
Like, this guy had the attention of everyone with the women's team and the men's team. And no doubt, no matter what you say about him, his teams under his leadership, the level improved.
Oh, 1,000%.
Right?
They were ranked 90th when he took them on, Canada in 2018, and when he left, or when they're at their peak, they were in the 30s.
There you go.
Like, for doing nationals, for an identity, to get people to believe. Because keep in mind, Bubba, because you've been around and you watch sports and you watch this team. And I felt it when I went to Europe in 2015, and I'm going to Denmark, and people are like, I play soccer, and they kind of like scoffed. They're like, you guys play hockey. We didn't play soccer. Then there was a guy that was pretty fast. Alphonso Davies goes right next door to Germany and starts killing it in the Bundesliga. And people are like, oh, so Canadians start to play. Like, this was still a thing, right, where people didn't get that respect. John Herdman really leaned into that, flipped the belief in these players, said we're good enough to go and do something, and then did what most people dream of doing, doubled down and backed it and actually did it. So, yeah, of course he's a polarizing figure, and there's a lot to say about John Herdman, and there's probably areas he would probably admit that he wish he did different. But in terms of that belief and kind of lighting the spark, we have to give him credit, because he did that for the women's side and the men's side.
Yeah, he did it for both. It was incredible.
And if the people and the players that I know that were under John Herdman, like, they would run to a brick wall for him.
That's what I've heard.
Everyone, like, no one for me tells me that he didn't make them better in some way, shape, or form. And as a group, the totality of the group, they always exceeded and did bigger things than people thought they could. So that for me is a judge of a great manager, a great leader.
What about the new man in charge, Jesse Marsch?
I like Jesse Marsch. I like his principles. I like that he got people to buy in. But I also think this is a little bit of judgment day for him, because he has said recently that he feels good about the squad. He backs them. He's been very adamant about certain decisions. Like I said, playing maybe Jonathan David not in his rightful place as a starting lone striker. He said, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm trying to implement. Now, if that doesn't work, you can go to the players to some degree, but you have to also look at the guy in charge leading, right? And he also signed a new deal. He's going to be leading for the next 4 years.
Wow.
So it's a long tenure as well. So we're going to get nice and familiar with Jesse Marsch. I just hope that he's able to put his best foot forward and bring out the best in these players. And I think specifically, Bubba, too, is about the decisions that he makes during the game. Because I think when you look at Gold Cup, Copa America, there's certain situations, I'm like, he tweaked things and it didn't benefit the group.
Right.
The World Cup, you got to be on it. You have to know, hey, we need a goal. This is what I want to do. Hey, we want to protect the goal. This is what I want to do. Hey, we got to see at a match. This is what we're implementing. It can't be fumbles on the sideline. It can't be getting yellow or red cards from referees.
Yeah, that's...
You got to lock in and make sure. And that's why being a manager is difficult, because, yeah, you're under the microscope every single day, but I believe that he could do well, but this is also a time for us to really lock in and see what he's made of.
Yeah, there's a couple during the friendlies, he was getting all over the linesman, and I'm like, dude, this is a friendly.
Tranquilo. Tranquilo. You have to relax.
Let's end on this, and this is. You can go anywhere you want with this, but nice. I have 5 questions. It is fast 5 that I have for you. Okay. First question: the group of death is.
I don't think there's a group of death, but
what?
I don't. I think the group that I'm probably most excited to see, the group was Senegal, France. Who else is in this group? There's 2 other squads. I'm blanking right now. But that group for me, I'm excited to see, because obviously the French and Senegal connection, and a lot of players can maybe play for both. But I really rate Senegal and the squad that they have. But then France for me I know there's a bunch of favorites, but probably favorites to go and win the whole tournament, right?
The tournament shocker. I mean, they don't necessarily have to get to the end, but who's going to be, I can't believe they did this?
The dark horse? This is so tricky, because 2022, people didn't think it would be Morocco, and it was, right? I think there's a good chance it could be Turkey. Honestly, I think Guler, when I talk about young players that can go and do something special, I really just like this Turkish side as well. So I'm thinking, with their group, I think they have Australia, USA, and Paraguay in their group. I think they could do well. think potentially, and people are talking about the U.S. topping it, but I could see Turkey doing some damage. But then based on where they finish, their pathway, they can start to make a run and gain some momentum as well. So I know they play Australia, Turkey play Australia in Vancouver. That will be a vibe as well, that type of game. But yeah, Turkey's going to be my pick out of the 48 teams.
I know, it's just crazy now.
I'm going to say Turkey.
The biggest flop will be favorite team, or a team that is expected to do well, that could go, oh my goodness, what a flop.
Argentina.
Whoa!
I think it's very
Messi.
I know. I think it's very difficult to go and do what they did, which is every call, all the right calls at the right time are given to them. Messi went on a rampage and stole the show. Even in the final, the save from Martinez. Like I think it's very difficult to have that grit, grind, and luck twice. Like I could see them just crashing out early. When I mean early,
like not even getting out of the group stage.
No, getting out of the group.
Oh,
but
okay.
Like early being for Argentina,
yes.
Early's like round of 16.
No, good point. Good point.
Yeah,
good point.
They're getting out of the group. Round of 32 to be okay. But like people have said that this is gonna be Messi's tournament as well. So that's why for me they're gonna be a flop, because I think we'll be talking about Spain, France, England, Portugal. And we're gonna be talking about Senegal. We're gonna be talking about, who else am I missing? There's a bunch of countries that I think will go further than Argentina go. I think they're going to crash out round of 16. Yeah, I know. I'm guessing you're a Messi fan, Bubba.
I mean, I just appreciate him.
Yeah,
I mean, more than anything else.
It's his last World Cup, so it's like,
yeah, for sure.
It's bittersweet, but I don't see them going all the way.
I'm really afraid about, and a lot of people aren't going to be happy with me. I'm afraid about England.
Yeah?
I think there's a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah.
And Thomas Tuchel, he was very controversial in some of his picks, and
sure.
and no Foden, and no Cole Palmer, and you know, how is he going to attack? And Bellingham didn't have the greatest year, but he's there, and I get it. The guy's uber talented, but I just think there's so much pressure on England, and for some reason, and you and I have watched a lot of World Cups, they always disappoint you in the end.
They do, and they always say it's coming home, and it hasn't come home yet.
Yeah.
I do like this England side, though. I just think there's always this, I don't know why, because what they won in '66, like that's a while ago, right? We're in 2026 now. Like that is a while ago. But there's that like inherent pressure for them to be the best country in the world when it comes to football.
They want it so bad.
And sometimes there's that window. You can want something too much, or you can be underprepared. Sometimes it just feels like they're too eager to get it done. They can't get across the line. But I will say I do like their squad. I like that. The biggest thing that people have talked about with England is the fact that they've never had like a system or a team. They've had like individual players that never really came together. You're thinking about 20 years ago in the golden generation. But Thomas Tuchel, he killed all that. He said, I'm picking a team. I'm picking guys that are going to play a role. So maybe it works out for them. I will say with Harry Kane and their team, who for me he's in my best 11 for this World Cup as a number 9 striker. You know he's going to show up big, because this is probably his last World Cup as well.
You bring up the likes of a Messi and, of course, a Harry Kane, who's just an uber goal scorer. The Golden Boot winner will be
Mbappe. That one for me, if I had a house, I'd bet the house on it for sure, because 12 goals in the last 2 World Cups combined. He was on a rampage. And I just think this France team is too deep. Like, he doesn't have to play and do so many step overs and get into these spots. They will feed him the ball and they'll put it in the back of the net. They're also so electric 1v1. They're probably going to be penalties. He'll be taking those. Yeah, I see him probably breaking the record this World Cup. He'll probably score like 5 goals, and I think that would do it for him. But yeah, he for me is the outright favorite.
Could be easy, this next question, or it could be really simple. And you kind of talked about him, but who's going to win it all?
I'd like it to be Portugal, but the way I've just raved about them today, my feeling has to be with France. That French side is too deep. There's too many superstars. I think losing the finals crushed them, obviously, as it would last year to 4 years ago, the last World Cup to Argentina. But they have an A side and a B side, a B team that could possibly go and win this tournament. So it's about the balance. But I really rate them. I think they could do damage. And you asked me on your show, I say them today.
Yeah, I mean, and it'd be crazy just coming off a Champions League victory in Paris. What about a crazy celebration it could be
For sure.
in that country if they are able to, because let's be honest, they are one of the favored teams. I mean, maybe one or two, depending on who you speak to.
Yeah.
I would think that, they're going to definitely go deep, and it would be a massive upset if they get knocked off. I think at any level, quite honestly, based on their quality.
For sure. There's too much quality on that side.
Jordan, this has been outstanding. I think anyone that is looking forward to this tournament would have loved this conversation. Maybe if you didn't even, you're just learning soccer a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
you're welcome as well.
Absolutely. Now, that's the wonderful thing about this tournament is that all of a sudden, and we have to accept the bandwagon Charlies, because that's the best thing about this tournament. And hopefully, as we said, there's a surprise along the way or great plays. There's a moment. I think we live for the moments, and the World Cup year after year, no matter how much the ticket prices are and whatever controversies are, there's moments for countries and celebrations on the street, and we're going to see them right here in our area for somebody.
That's beautiful. Bubba, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And we didn't even get into Premier League stuff and the team that you support and the team that won it this year in my Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
Next time.
We never lost to you. You never beat us. You never beat us, and we beat you for a trophy too, right? So I know you can't. I know that somewhere within your win, because there's a number of Arsenal fans here too, and we go back and forth almost daily, daily. But I know somewhere deep within inside of you, it burns you that you didn't beat us this year. 3 chances you had. And even the one tie was lucky. Enjoy the World Cup, partner. Look forward to watching you on OneSoccer.
Thank you, my guy. I appreciate it.
All right. Hey, that's your Sportsline podcast for the day. And if you've just seen and heard, we love talking footy. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote the Sportsline podcast, we want to hear from you. Please hit that thumbs up, like, and subscribe button if you have something to say. We always appreciate your fine comments, even the bad ones. For the wonderful people that make the Sportsline podcast possible on a daily basis, thank you so very much. And we'll see you real soon.